After a decade of racing, 2 championships, and 32 wins, Tony Stewart and Joe Gibbs Racing are parting ways. But while Tony is leaving Joe Gibbs as a driver, he is joining him in the ranks of the NASCAR owners.
You know, obviously, this is a huge day for me. It's, you know, this is a huge turning point in my career, obviously, but I'm very proud today to be here and announce that myself and Joe Custer have, with the Haas CNC team, have merged and now have formed Stewart Haas Racing. That's where I'll be next year, and hopefully for the rest of my life and my career in NASCAR racing.
I truly believe that he'll go over there and be successful. You know, he's very capable of doing it. And part of me wishes I was going over there, because I'm also the same way with the challenges and the things. But you know, what's exciting for me is I'll have a new challenge next year with new driver and things. So you know, I'm going to stick with that. But you know, for him, you know, everybody in here knows him. He likes to be backed up against the wall and usually does his best. So I think that he'll do a fine job.
I like challenges, and if I didn't like challenges, I wouldn't be a part of 3 racetracks and have 4 race teams. There are no guarantees with this. There's no guarantees that this is going to be successful. But after sitting down and evaluating what the potential of this team is, I wouldn't have made this decision if I didn't think it would be successful and if I didn't think it had the potential to be great. So, you know, like I say, there are no guarantees, and you know, I don't know that it is going to be successful, but we're going to do everything we can to make it successful.
And Hermie Sadler joins us now, made it back from the backstretch. And Hermie, it looks like they have all the ingredients to make that successful. And also, this changes the landscape of ownership. We've just heard of big billionaire businessmen coming in here and owning these teams.
Well, this could be a situation where it works like it should. It should help both organizations. I mean, JGR is a strong organization. They'll be fine without Tony. And Tony going to joining forces with Haas, all of a sudden they have 2 marquee drivers, 2 big-time sponsors, really saving that organization, in my opinion.
I think one of the biggest things that I noticed what I like Tony's doing. Now, remember, you have these teams like Ray Evernham, you know, they're like, man, we need more money. Well, look what Tony Stewart's doing. He's joining forces with Haas right now. So we got 2 guys. Okay, here's what's going to happen. Tony's famous. He's going to bring all the money in. He's got Carl Haas, who's like a billionaire.
No, not Carl.
Gene Haas. Thank you, Spence. I appreciate that. Gene Haas, he's got a lot of money. So the elements are right. The business situation is really smart on Tony. Plus, Tony's 37 years old, and he has told everybody, look, when I start getting around 40, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with my career. He's going to situate his future right here.
Yeah, it's smart on Tony's part, but most of all, it's smart on Gene Haas's part. The team's failing. The team's terrible. Let's face it. They've been in this sport many, many years. People don't even know who the heck they are. They've gone through drivers, crew chiefs. They've had everything from Hendrick. That was the last straw. By him giving 50% of that organization to Tony, that was a great business decision. I think Joe Gibbs has to figure out who's going to be their flagship driver. Tony Stewart's the flagship commodity. Jeff Gordon, there's only a few guys flagship. I think it's hurt that Tony Stewart has left Joe Gibbs. And believe me, guys, I don't think Joe Gibbs is happy that that guy has left him. I think they needed another year before Logano is ready for this Cup car. That's going to be critical, that that guy gets a little bit more experience before he jumps in a championship caliber team such as the 20.
Now, currently, Jimmy, the 66 and the 70 of Haas Racing, they're outside the top 35 in points. The 66 is close, Hermie. So what do you think happens if Tony Stewart does not make the chase for the Sprint Cup?
Well, I think Tony Stewart will make the chase, but if he doesn't make the chase, I see Tony Stewart going to that 66 car before this season is over to do 2 things. Number 1, personally take it upon himself to try to get that 66 in the top 35 in points and give the Joe Gibbs team a chance to bring in Logano, get him some experience.
So
yes, sir.
You know, is Home Depot going to accept that? Is Joe Gibbs going to, you know, why? I mean, I think it's a good point, but man, that's big.
Well, if your Home Depot is a sponsor, what are you going to get more mileage out of? Watching a lame duck Tony Stewart run for 10 races, not in the chase, or bringing in the new superstar Joey Logano? Let's see how he progresses in that car. I'm saying it's a last, you know, it's a ditch effort if Tony Stewart doesn't make the chase. But if he doesn't, I see no reason why not.
I'll tell you one thing right now. Everybody, I hate to say this, but this is our job on the show. Everybody Gibbs better be careful with Joey Logano. We know he's a great race car driver.
I agree with you on that.
You move him up too fast and that kid fails, man, everybody's going to love it. I mean, we got to take care of Joey Logano. I like the kid, and I love the Gibbs people. I mean, they're really good people. But let's calm down on this euphoric rise of Joey Logano. Okay, we already know he's good, but don't put him in the cup with.
How good is he if he was back in a 15th, 18th place car?
Well, we don't know.
Okay, that's my point, too.
The bottom line is,
And you may never find out.
hey,
Yeah.
if we go back to February in Daytona, there's no question Tony Stewart is probably one of the top 3 or 4 most popular drivers in this series.
Yeah.
But with the success of Kyle Busch, won 6 races already this year, I think it makes it easier, not that it's easy, but easier for Joe Gibbs to say, okay, Tony, if this is what you want to do, we support you. We got to move forward with our race team. I think the organization at Joe Gibbs is strong enough to handle that.
Well, I think the best, we're all overlooking this, but I think this is the best thing to happen in our sport in 20 years. And I'll tell you why. Our sport needs owners. There's nothing wrong with Gillette Everham. There's nothing wrong with the group from with bought into Roush.
Fenway.
Henry, Mr.
Fenway.
Henry, these guys. That's fantastic. But, buddy, there's nothing better. NASCAR was built on drivers such as Tony Stewart. Now him becoming a car owner, I'm glad NASCAR supporting him. Kenny, I hope he is. I think he will prevail, and I just love it because I'm a big Tony Stewart fan. But most of all, the sport needs him as an owner.
And you know who Tony Stewart is going to remind me of as a car owner? Watch the comparison start flying with A.J. Foyt.
Hey.
Because if the car don't run, oh, Tony, I'll give him the old right foot. Say, give him a car handling.
Hey, listen, Spence, you made the point. Those 2 teams, the Haas CNC teams, they've had multiple drivers, not really a full-time sponsor. Nobody knows who they are. Well, already, we know they got Tony Stewart. They got another marquee
Ryan
driver.
Newman.
And they've got 2 big money sponsors already lined up to go to that organization, and they haven't even run a race yet under the Haas, the Stewart Haas banner.
So already it looks like a good move.
Yeah, Newman's going to go there simply from the standpoint that Tony Stewart has respect for Newman. Newman has respect for him. The Indiana, oh man, that'd be
That
tough.
would mean,
big.
if that
It'd
did
be
happen,
big.
that would mean a
Be
couple
strong.
Indiana boys were together, and they say we possibly could hear about that as early as the race at Indy 2 weeks from now.